Hey everyone, welcome back to Tan's Top 10 channel. So it was almost a year ago that I made my first video on this channel, which was my Blu-ray collection video showing you guys all my movies. And so I'd like to make one of these videos at least once a year just to show you guys updates to my collection, what movies I bought over the past year. So that's what today's video is going to be. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys a number. I counted up all the movies I own. I'm going to tell you guys the final number of movies that I have in my collection. It's took a lot. So I'm going to try to do this in alphabetical order, and in my collection I have movies that start with numbers first and then alphabetized. So we're going to do numbered movies first. So first up is 10 Cloverfield Lane, a really cool thriller with an amazing performance by John Goodman. Probably should have been nominated for an Oscar, I think so, but really cool movie. 10 Things I Hate About You, one of my favorite high school movies of all time, if not my favorite. Heath Ledger, so charming in this movie. Really cool, feel-good movie. 12 Angry Men, this is Criterion edition. I haven't finished watching this. I shared this in another video. I watched this on Amazon Prime and then my connection got cut. So I didn't get I got about halfway through and it was amazing what I watched. So I'm really excited to rewatch the entire thing. 13 Hours, Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Probably Michael Bay's second best movie. 21 and Over, that's my fiance's. Wasn't really a big fan of that movie. I got 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. These are two of my favorite comedies of all time. I love both of these. Got 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I actually prefer 28 Weeks Later to 28 Days Later. A lot of people like 28 Days Later more. I kind of like 28 Weeks Later a little bit more. I think they're both amazing, but just my preference. 40-Year-Old Virgin, classic comedy from the mid-2000s. 50-50, really funny, sweet, heartwarming movie. Check it out if you haven't. It's got amazing Joseph Gordon-Levitt performance, and Seth Rogen is also really funny in it as well. 101 Dalmatians. I got 300 on 4K and 300 Rise of an Empire. I have not watched this one yet. It's been a while since I've watched 300. I used to watch it a lot, though, when I was younger. 310 to Yuma. I just recently watched this, and it is amazing. Really cool Western. It's actually directed by the guy who directed Logan. So really, really cool Western. Check it out if you have not. One of my favorite movies of all time, 500 Days of Summer. Probably my favorite romantic romance movie, I guess you'd call it. But really cool movie, really awesome chemistry between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, and really subverts expectations from what you would expect from a rom-com movie. Got 1917, movie that I think is a little overrated. I think it's really well made. If it wasn't with the whole one-shot gimmick of the movie, I don't think people would be talking about this movie the way they do. But still like it. It's just overrated. And finally, 2012, super bloated movie. I do not like this movie at all. Don't know why I own it. All right, kicking off with the A's. I got Ben Affleck and The Accountant. It's a pretty cool spy action movie. Kind of forgettable. I don't know. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Sorry, forgot the title. Airplane. Aladdin. Really good. One of my favorite Disney movies of all time. I got the Aladdin remake, which I have not watched. I got this 4K version really cheap at a used movie store, so I picked it up. Sure, my fiance and I will watch it someday. Just, I don't know when. So I got the Alfred Hitchcock Blu-ray Essentials collection. This has Rear Window, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, and The Birds. And I have not watched, I don't think I've watched any of these yet, we watched a little bit of North by Northwest in college. I really enjoyed what I saw, but I was in the mood to watch Alfred Hitchcock movies one day, and so I bought this collection, and I've yet to sit down and watch them. But I'm really excited to. The Birds is probably the only one I'm not super excited for because I don't know. I've kind of seen what it's about. It just doesn't really intrigue me. But I don't know. The Alien Anthology. This has Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. Aliens is my favorite. Alien might be the better movie, though. I just enjoy Aliens more. It's more action. And James Cameron, I just love him as a director. But yeah, Alien Anthology. Speaking of which, I got Alien Covenant, which I actually didn't mind. I thought this was a lot better than Prometheus. It wasn't great. It wasn't everything I wanted it to be, but it was a step in the right direction, I think, compared to what they did in Prometheus. Alita Battle Angel. I have yet to watch this. I heard good things, though. All the President's Men. Amazing movie. Really good conspiracy film and journalist movie. I got The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Two of the most, like, what the hell superhero movies in the past decade. Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man is probably better than number 2, but I think I'd rather watch number 2 because I think number 1 is just kind of boring. Number 2 is just so bad that it's kind of unbelievable. So, yeah, neither one is good, but I used to really like number 2 when I first watched it, but then I grew a brain. American Beauty, a movie that is really uncomfortable to watch because of Kevin Spacey now, but I still think is a really good movie. Really some really funny moments, and yeah, if it was anyone besides Kevin Spacey in this movie, I would still really like it. American Hustle, movie when I first watched it, I loved it, and I just have never had the urge to go back to it. American Psycho, classic Christian Bale movie. American Sniper, pretty overrated war movie, I think. I think it's fine. Just don't think it deserved all the acclaim it got. American Werewolf in London, another movie that I think is a little overrated. I think the werewolf transformation scene is insanely good. I think it's iconic. Excuse me. Still holds up, but the rest of the movie, I don't know. I thought it was a little slow, and I wanted more werewolf action in it. And I thought I'd get that. Ooh, guilty pleasure right here. Anaconda. I watched this a couple months ago. This movie is batshit insane. It is terrible. It is not a good movie, but goddamn is it enjoyable. And as someone who hates snakes, this is just so weird. I get a little creeped out watching it, but John Voight in this movie just kills this movie so much, but he also makes it. Got Anchorman 1 and 2. Number 1, probably one of my favorite comedies of all time. Number 2 wasn't the biggest fan of, but I haven't watched it in a while. Angel Has Fallen. Animal House, haven't seen it yet. I heard kind of mixed things. I heard it doesn't really hold up that well, so I'm not really excited to watch it. I got Annabelle Comes Home, snooze fest. But I'm excited for Conjuring 3 that comes out in a couple months. I got Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Really enjoy Ant-Man. Ant-Man and the Wasp is towards the bottom of my MCU ranking list. I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know, it was just kind of fine. The Apartment, Best Picture winner. Haven't watched it yet. Got the Apocalypse Now Final Cut Edition. This is the 4K version. It's really sweet. Yeah, got a couple different versions. I've only seen this movie once, and I watched the redo, whatever you call it, version. And I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I heard a lot of people say that's probably the worst version. So they say either watch the theatrical or the final cut. So I will have to do that. Apocalypto, really good Mel Gibson directed movie. Aquaman, a movie a lot of people don't like. I don't get it. This movie is just a total blast. It is so over the top and weird, and I love it. A freaking octopus plays drums. If you're not into that, you're not going to be into this movie. But I just had a blast with this movie, and I'm really excited for the sequel. Argo, The Aristocats, Armageddon, Army of Darkness, my favorite Evil Dead movie out of the entire trilogy. I really, really like that. Arrival, really good movie. I loved it when I first saw it. I just watched this a couple months ago with my fiance. I still really liked it, but I don't know, it just wasn't as blown away as I was the first time I watched it. But still really good. The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. This movie is amazing. Please watch it if you have not. It's a little slow, but it is so damn beautiful. Roger Deakins shot this thing. Movie looks crisp as shit. The A-Team. Funny story with this movie. When I was in middle school, I had a gift card to Walmart, like $20 gift card. My brother and I went to Walmart, and we stopped at Walmart, and then we were gonna go to Blockbuster to rent some movies. So while we were at Walmart, I used my gift card and I bought a box of fruit snacks. And I was like, I'm gonna eat this entire box of fruit snacks while we watch some movies. So we went to Blockbuster and we rented the A-Team. Got back home, we're watching the movie, and I ate probably more than half of that box of fruit snacks. And about halfway through the movie, I ran to the bathroom and puked my guts out. So, yeah, now every time I watch this movie or think of this movie, that's all I can think about is just fruit snacks. Yeah. I won't go into details, but it was not pretty. Austin Powers trilogy. Avatar. Really, really curious to see what Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 78 are like. I have faith in James Cameron. The guy hasn't really disappointed us yet. He hasn't let us down yet. It just sucks that he's such an amazing filmmaker, and he spent the past over 10 years making Avatar movies. Just kind of sucks. Wish he'd do something different. So we got the Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, all in 4K. Avengers Endgame is my favorite movie-going theater experience of all time. It probably will never be beaten. Saw that movie opening night, the first showing they had with a full crowd, and I was in tears by the end. And Infinity War, I think, is a little overrated. I think a lot of people like Infinity War more than Endgame. Infinity War, I kind of knew that Thanos was going to snap his fingers. I didn't have it spoiled for me. I was like, okay, they're going to make another one after this. He's obviously probably going to snap his fingers at the end, or there's going to be something. Thanos is going to win. So that wasn't really surprising to me. Everything that happened in Endgame, I was not expecting. I had my predictions and everything, but they blew all those out of the water. And finally, the last A, The Aviator. Haven't watched it yet. All right, now onto the B's. We got The Babadook. Really good horror movie. Baby Driver. Back to the Future trilogy. Great Scott. Backdraft. Really cheesy 90s movie, but I really enjoy it. I got Bad Boys 1 and 2 on 4K. This is a really weird case. That might be, I don't know if that's better, 1 and 2. And then I also have Bad Boys for Life. It's been a while since I've watched Bad Boys 1. It's also been a while since I've watched Bad Boys 2. And I just watched Bad Boys for Life a couple months ago. I enjoyed it. It was fine. Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Bad Santa. Bambi, Bambi's mom gets shot in the face. Basic Instinct. I kind of love this movie. It's Paul Verhoeven. I love him as a director. He makes some of the weirdest, most graphic, mature, but insanely enjoyable movies of all time. And Basic Instinct, I think, is one of his best. And I liked it so much that I picked up Basic Instinct 2, which I heard is terrible, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So now we're going on to all the Batman movies. Big Batman fan. So let's just get through all these. Batman the movie from what year is this? 1966 with Adam West. I have not watched this yet. I got Batman 1989, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is my favorite Batman movie. Just kidding. Got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. I haven't watched the Ultimate Edition yet. I hate Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think he is terrible. He ruins that movie for me. So I have not gone back to watch it yet because I just cannot stand him. Anyways, Batman the Killing Joke. Half a good movie, half a terrible movie. Should have been a lot better than it was. Batman The Dark Knight Returns Deluxe Edition. This is my favorite animated Batman movie. Excuse me. This thing is amazing. Please check it out if you have not, especially if you're a big Batman fan. This is what like Batman v Superman should have been. Batman Assault on Arkham. Batman Under the Red Hood. Really cool movie. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. I've not watched that yet. All right. Battle Royale, really cool foreign movie. It's basically the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games was a thing. And it's a lot more graphic than the Hunger Games, a lot bloodier, but really good movie. Baywatch, I heard this movie is terrible, but I thought my fiance would like it. She has a really weird taste in movies. Like this is the kind of movie she would like, even though it's terrible. So I'm sure I'll watch it with her. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I think Zac Efron is really funny. So I don't know. Kind of nervous to watch it. Beauty and the Beast and Beauty and the Beast. Really good movie. Not a good movie. I hated this movie, and it was one of the worst theater going experiences I've ever had. The AC was broken. Beetlejuice. I haven't yet to watch this on 4K, but I heard it looks amazing. It's been a while since I watched Beetlejuice, actually. Should have done that during Halloween. Got the Before trilogy. This is Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. This is the Criterion version. I heard all three of these movies are amazing. One of the best trilogies of all time. I've yet to watch it. But I'm excited to. Beginners. Oh, wow. Behind Enemy Lines. It's kind of weird that Owen Wilson was in an action movie, but I watched this when I was younger, and it was really cheap, so thought I'd give it another watch sometime, and it's been a while. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is a mockumentary about a guy who lives in a world where Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, like all these people exist, and he is kind of like they're kind of his idols. He wants to become like a serial killer like them. So it's supposed to be a really funny movie. A lot of poking fun at the horror genre and slashers in general. So I'm really excited to check it out. I just picked that up not too long ago. Better Watch Out, really cool horror, Christmas horror movie. Check it out if you have not. Don't watch any trailers, just go in completely blind and you will enjoy yourself. Big Hero 6. The Big Lebowski. It's been a while since I've seen it. Got to rewatch that soon. Another one of my fiance's, Big Miracle. I have no idea what this movie is about, and I have not watched it yet. The Big Sick, one of my favorite romantic movies of all time. Romantic comedies, sorry. This movie is so sweet, but so funny. Really underrated. Please check it out if you have not. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's a really, really good movie. Big Trouble in Little China. Billy Madison. Birds of Prey and the super long title. A lot of people hated this movie. I thought it was actually pretty enjoyable. I don't know, it was a bloody R-rated superhero movie with Harley Quinn and a hyena. I enjoyed myself. Birdman. I watched about half of this, and then I got really tired and didn't watch, or then I fell asleep and didn't end up watching the rest of it. And I don't know, I just don't really feel like going back to watch it. Black Hawk Down, one of my favorite war movies of all time. I still have yet to watch this on 4K, but I bet it looks incredible. Black Panther, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, and I'm really excited for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And I want to I'm curious to see what they do with the casting of Black Panther, if they recast or just don't have the character in there. I don't know. They're in a tough situation, and I don't envy them. Black Swan, the Blade trilogy, Blade 1, Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. Blade Runner, the final cut, I think this is. I really, really enjoy this movie. A lot of people say it's like really slow, and so I was kind of dreading watching it the first time, but I loved it the first time I watched it. I didn't think it was really slow at all, and I had a blast with it. And then Blade Runner 2049, really enjoyable sequel. I got to rewatch this again, especially on 4K on my big TV. I bet it looks amazing. Blair Witch. I have not seen any of the Blair Witch movies, so I'm curious to check that one out. That's the remake that came out in 2016, I think it came out. Excuse me. Blockers, really funny movie. Blood Diamond. Blood Simple. Believe this is the Coen brothers' first movie, but I heard it's amazing. I gotta check it out. Bohemian Rhapsody, one of the most overrated movies of all time. It's enjoyable, but all they do is play Queen music. Like, you don't like the movie, you like the music that they're playing in the movie. That doesn't, like, the Queen music doesn't make the movie good. So, it's a fine performance. I just think the movie's overrated as shit. Bone Tomahawk, super graphic movie. Don't watch that if you're squeamish. Boogie Nights, one of my favorite movies of all time. Amazing. Booksmart. God. The Boondock Saints and Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. I used to love these movies back in high school. I used to watch them all the time with my buddies. It's been a while since I've seen them, though. Don't really know how long or how well they hold up. The Bourne trilogy. This has The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, and The Bourne Ultimatum. Not the biggest fan of the Bourne movies. I don't know. They're fine. Just kind of think they're a little overrated, to be honest. Boys in the Hood. I'm really excited to check that out. Boyhood. The Breakfast Club. Brick. Bridesmaids. Bridge of Spies. Broadcast News, Criterion version. Broken Arrow. Ooh, ain't it cool? Brother Bear and Brother Bear 2, excuse me. The Bucket List, I didn't even know I owned this. It's kind of weird. Bug's Life, this is one of my this is my fiance's like favorite Pixar movie, even though it's been a long time since we've watched it. Bumblebee, I heard this is like the best Transformers movie, but I haven't sat down with it yet. Burn After Reading. And finally, one of my favorite westerns of all time, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I freaking love Paul Newman and Robert Redford in this movie. Paul Newman is my favorite older actor, like classic actor. I think he's so damn charming and likable, and the script of this movie is just pure gold by William Goldman. So that's all the B's. All right, on to the C's now. So I got a 3-pack here. The Possession, Cabin in the Woods, and Sinister. I put this in the C's for Cabin in the Woods because that's why I bought this pack. Um, Cabin in the Woods, one of my favorite horror movies. Sinister, I kind of like it. And Possession, I have yet to watch. Caddyshack, classic comedy from the 80s, I think. Candyman. I haven't watched this yet, but I heard amazing things, and we got a new one coming out, I think sometime this year. I hope. So I got to watch that before the new one comes out. I got Captain America, the First Avenger, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America, Civil War. I love all three of these movies. I think this is one of the best superhero trilogies of all time, and all three of them are probably my top 10 favorite MCU movies of all time. Captain Marvel, a movie that would not be in my top 10 MCU movies. Pretty forgettable. I liked it more than most people did, but just have no urge to go back and watch Captain Marvel. Captain Phillips. I'm the captain now. Carlito's Way, an amazing Al Pacino movie directed by Brian De Palma, and I think this is better than Scarface. I just watched Scarface 2 days ago on 4K. That was also directed by Brian De Palma, starring Al Pacino, and I think this movie's better. I said it. I think Carlito's Way is better than Scarface. Casino Royale, one of my top 10 favorite action movies of all time. Castaway. Central Intelligence. Movies are sticking together and I don't know why. Chasing Amy. Chef. Chernobyl Diaries. I don't know why I own this. I heard it's a not good horror movie, so. Children of Men, modern masterpiece. Really good. Check it out if you have not. Child's Play remake. I enjoyed this for the most part. I think that if they were to make another one, like a sequel to this, I think the sequel would have to be better. I think the design of Chucky in this movie is terrible. Everything else, I thought it was pretty good. I just wish, I don't know. I'm just excited for a sequel if we ever get one. I hope we do. Chinatown, really amazing 70s movie. Speaking of Child's Play, got the Chucky collection. This has all the way from the first Child's Play, which I really like, all the way up to Cult of Chucky. So, yeah, I've only watched the first Child's Play and Child's Play 2, and I really liked both of those movies. Cinderella. City Lights, the Criterion version. We watched, I think it was City Lights. We watched a little bit of that in college, and I really enjoyed it for Charlie Chaplin movie made in like the 30s. I thought it was really good. Clerks 1 and Clerks 2. Clerks 1 is probably my favorite Kevin Smith movie. I rewatched this a couple months ago. Still held up. Still really funny. Cliffhanger. Clueless. That's my fiance's. Cobra. Coco. Cold Pursuit. I think I got this Black Friday shopping or something, or Prime Day. I think it was really cheap, but I don't know. It's a Liam Neeson action movie. I'm sure if I'm bored one day, I'll watch it. Fuck yeah. Collateral. This movie is incredible. Watch it if you have not. Tom Cruise. Probably his best performance, I think. I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar. It's kind of crazy that Jamie Foxx was. I'm not the biggest Jamie Foxx fan, but this movie's perfect, I think. Commando. Con Air. One of the best 90s action movies of all time. Love it. Ooh, yeah. Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Conjuring 2, I think, is a really good sequel, and I'm really excited for number 3, except James Wan isn't directing it, which kind of sucks. I kind of wish he had like a nice horror trilogy. Like, it just seems like he doesn't ever want to finish a horror trilogy. Like, he directed Conjuring 1 and 2, but isn't directing 3. He directed, Insidious 1 and 2, but didn't direct 3. James Wan, you're kind of weird, man. Cool Hand Luke, The Counselor, Courage Under Fire, Crash, a movie where people get into car accidents and have sex. They get turned on by car accidents. I'm not kidding. That's what this movie is about. I'm really excited to watch it. Crash. This is the one people talk about because it's not a great movie and it won Best Picture. Yeah. Go home, Oscars, you're drunk. Crawl. The Crazies. One of the best horror remakes of all time, I think. I think that movie is really good. Crazy Stupid Love, one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. Whoa! Just throwing movies around. Creed 1 and Creed 2. Creed 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it. And Creed 2 I thought was really good. Not as good as Creed 1, but still a really good movie. And finally, The Crow. Really amazing movie. Kind of, if you watch The Crow, you can kind of see where Heath Ledger is getting inspiration from for his performance as the Joker. But The Crow, amazing movie. All right, on to the D's. Got the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises. In my original top 10 favorite movies of all time video, these were my number 1 movies of all time. I might have to remake that video. I don't know. I watched these not too long ago. I enjoyed them, but the last time I watched them, a lot of the cracks in these movies started to show. I don't know. I still think they're really good movies, but they might be a little, I don't know. It's hard since they were my favorite movies of all time. And now I just think they just don't hold up as well as I thought they would. I don't know. Anyways, Dawn of the Dead, Dead Poet Society, got Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, Deep Blue Sea, The Long Kiss Goodnight, and Snakes on a Plane. Deep Blue Sea and Snakes on a Plane are guilty pleasure creature features, and Long Kiss Goodnight was enjoyable, but I was hoping it'd be a little bit better than it was. I heard really good things about it, and it had some really cool parts. Just wish it was a little better. Oh, hell yeah. Deep Rising. This is in my top 10 guilty pleasures of all time. This movie is not good, but goddamn is it flippin' enjoyable as hell. Check it out if you haven't. It's a 90s creature feature with an amazing cast. Deepwater Horizon. The Deer Hunter. I just watched this for the first time about a month ago. It was good, but I think it could have been a little. This movie is over 3 hours long. I think it could have been a good 2.5 hours, and it would have been amazing. But still, a really good movie, and the Russian roulette scene is as terrifying as people say it is. Demolition Man. Hell yeah. Den of Thieves. I love bank robbery movies, and this one was really good. I enjoy it. The Departed, you fucking cocksucker. The Descendants. The Descent. Got Despicable Me 1 and Despicable Me 2. Detective Pikachu. The Devil's Own. Didn't even know I owned this. But it's got Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt, so that's got to be somewhat good. The Devil's Rejects. I did not enjoy this movie whatsoever. It was kind of just sadistic for the sake of being sadistic. I don't really think it said anything. I think it was just Rob Zombie basically jerking off in front of the camera, doing his own thing. Wasn't a fan of it. What the fuck? Huh. The Diary of Anne Frank. Oh, I bought a Blu-ray bundle, and this was in it. Yeah, that was. I don't know why. I definitely didn't buy that bundle for that movie. Anyways, Die Hard on 4K. This is just the original, and then I also own the Die Hard collection. This has 1 through 4, so this does not include the piece of shit Live Free, or not Live Free, A Good Day to Die Hard. But I enjoy all 4 of these movies. Die Hard #1 is my favorite action movie of all time. It's also my favorite Christmas movie of all time. And if you say it's not a Christmas movie, well, right there, pal. Anyways, District 9, one of my favorite movies of all time. Disturbia. Django Unchained, easily my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I freaking love this movie, and yeah, I really wish we got a 4K update of that. But Do the Right Thing. Doctor Sleep. Doctor Strange. Dodgeball. Dog Day Afternoon. I just watched this for the first time a couple months ago. I think right after I got done watching The Deer Hunter, actually. I was just in like a 70s movie kind of mood. But I thought this movie was really good. I don't think it is as amazing as everyone else says it is. But yeah, I love John Cazale in that movie. I think he's incredible. A Dog's Purpose. That I think is my sister's. Dog Soldiers. Don John. Donnie Brasco and We Own the Night. Don't Breathe, really good thriller horror movie from a couple of years ago. Drag Me to Hell. Dread, 4K version. This is the Steelbook. I just bought this the other day at Best Buy. I had the Blu-ray, but I had to upgrade because this is just badass, and it was pretty cheap. Carl Urban. I fucking love Carl Urban. He is the man. Drive. The Drop. Due Date. Basically a remake of The Hangover, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. Dumb and Dumber 2. I just realized I don't own Dumb and Dumber the original, but it's kind of weird. I'll have to find that on Blu-ray. And finally, Dunkirk. An amazing war movie. All right, moving on to the E's. We got Eastern Promises. Really cool David Cronenberg directed movie with an amazing Viggo Mortensen performance. Easy A. Edge of Tomorrow, I was about to say Live, Die, Repeat. An amazing movie, and I hope we get a sequel to it. Just picked this up not too long ago. This is El Camino. This is the Breaking Bad movie that came out. What was this? 2 years ago, I think this came out. Excuse me. I just saw this Blu-ray sitting at Best Buy, and I had to get it because I love Breaking Bad, and I have not watched El Camino yet, though. I was going to rewatch all of Breaking Bad and then watch that, and then I kind of just fell off of Breaking Bad. I watched the entire thing, but I was going to rewatch it. But anyways, Elf. Elysium, Neil Blomkamp, same guy who directed, District 9 directed this. I really enjoyed this movie. A lot of people weren't a fan of it, but I thought it was enjoyable. The Emperor's New Groove and Croc's New Groove. Wrong lever! Anyways, End of Watch. The English Patient. I get in these moods to watch movies from a certain time. Like a couple weeks ago, I was in the mood to watch a bunch of 70s movies. So I watched like Deer Hunter, Dog Day Afternoon, Chinatown. And a couple weeks ago, I was also in the mood to watch like 90s movies, like artsy movies. So I got The English Patient, but haven't watched it yet. Best Picture winner of the year I was born. Eraser, Escape from New York, Snake Plissken. Fuck yeah, what a badass. I love Kurt Russell. I think he's the biggest badass in movies. I think it'd actually be. I think Escape from New York is a movie that is prime for a remake. But just don't lose. You need someone who can kind of direct like John Carpenter, which is nearly impossible because it's John Carpenter. He has his own style of directing, but I think we could get a cool remake of Escape from New York. Anyways, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Elliot, get that fucking finger away from me, you damn dirty alien. Oh, all right, here we go. We got The Evil Dead, the original, Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead, the remake. I have not watched the original Evil Dead yet. Evil Dead 2, I think, is really good, and I actually really like the remake as well. It is graphic as shit, really brutal, but I thought it was really good. Ex Machina, Executive Decision. Speaking of Kurt Russell, what a badass. The Exorcist, just watched this a couple months ago. Still holds up, still really creepy. And The Expendables. This is the oldest Blu-ray in this entire collection. My parents bought me this for Christmas. Yeah, so this is first Blu-ray I ever owned. Right. On to the F's. Got Face Off. I want to take his face off. The Faculty. Ha ha ha. The Fanatic. This movie came out a couple of years ago. Stars John Travolta and directed by Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, directed this movie. It is. Oh my god, this movie is. Just watch this movie. It's so bad that it is fucking incredible. This is like The Room. It's so bad it's good. Watch The Fanatic. Be drunk while you're doing it, but watch The Fanatic. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. My fiance and I just a couple months ago watched all the Harry Potter movies and these. I enjoyed them more than I thought I would. I'm not a big Eddie Redmayne fan. I think he is overrated as shit. But I enjoyed the movies overall. Fargo, one of the best Coen Brothers movies, I think. It's amazing. Oh boy, this thing's heavier than I thought. The Fast and Furious 8 movie collection on 4K. Excuse me. This has from The Fast and Furious all the way to Fate of the Furious. So, yeah. And I'm really excited for Fast 9 or whatever the hell they're going to call it. Furious 9. I don't know. Fault in Our Stars. Fear. Really, really creepy movie with Mark Wahlberg. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. A Few Good Men. You're goddamn right. Fight Club. The Fighter. Finding Nemo, one of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. I think the animation in this movie is so goddamn good. Finding Dory. I fell asleep during this movie in theaters, and I was with my fiance and one of my best friends and his girlfriend, and I took I took a sweet nap. Sorry. 5 Feet Apart. That's my fiance's movie. Not watched it. The 5-Year Engagement. My fiance and I just watched this probably about a month ago, and I was really excited because this is Nicholas Stoller is the director. He's the same guy who directed Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is my favorite comedy of all time, and it's got Jason Segel in it. And this movie was a big letdown. This movie has some funny moments. It's also got some super unfunny, cringy moments that basically ruined the movie for both of us. Definitely a disappointment. The Fly, one of my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. Absolutely incredible. Speaking of which, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Fuck yes, I love this movie. It's probably the most quotable movie for me. So goddamn funny, but also has a lot of heart to it. So that's why I like it. It's got raunchy humor, but it's got a really funny story, amazing characters with amazing performances from those actors, but it's also got a lot of sweet moments as well. Forrest Gump. My name is Forrest Gump. Bubba, bubba, bubba. Four Lions. Excuse me. The Fox and the Hound. Oh, this has The Fox and the Hound and The Fox and the Hound 2. I did not know that. Anyways, Frailty. Really cool thriller slash kind of horror movie directed by Bill Paxton. Please check this out if you have not. It's got a really cool couple twists at the end, so don't watch any trailers or look anything up. Just kind of go in not knowing anything. It's a really, really cool movie, though. Definitely recommend. Freaky. The French Connection. Friends with Benefits. Fright Night, the remake that came out, and I think this came out in 2011. I really like this movie. It's got a lot of cool humor, or really cool horror in it. Sorry, but it's also really funny. And David Tennant steals this movie. He's amazing. We got Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. Frozen 1 I think is a little overrated, but I still get enjoyment out of it. And Frozen 2 I think was almost unwatchable. Fruitvale Station. The Fugitive. And Full Metal Jacket. I think this movie's a little overrated. I think I'm going to say what everyone else says. I think the first half is incredible, amazing. The second half is, it's fine. I don't know. But that's it for the Fs. All right, on to the Gs. Starting off with The Game, David Fincher directed movie. It was fine. The ending is kind of, I don't know, you got to take a lot of leaps for that movie, and I just couldn't get there. Game Night, really funny movie. Gangs of New York, the first Martin Scorsese movie I ever watched, and one of the first R-rated movies I watched. Also, really, really incredible. I think is a little underrated, honestly. Garden State, Gemini Man. Just picked this up not too long ago. The Gentleman. I heard mixed things. A lot of critics say it's okay, but I had a buddy of mine said that it's really good. So, Get Out. Ghost. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. The Girl Next Door. I think this movie is really funny. It's got a lot of heart to it as well. Not sure if I watched that one with my fiance yet. I think she would enjoy it though. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I really, really enjoyed that movie, but probably don't ever need to watch it again. It is brutal. Gladiator and Braveheart, 2 movie collection on 4K, both Best Picture winners. Gladiator, I think, is more enjoyable, but they're both incredible movies. I got the Godfather collection, 1, 2, and 3. Godfather 1 is my favorite of the trilogy, but number 1 and 2 are in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I think they're both incredible. I'm not even just being like saying that to like. I feel like if you say The Godfather trilogy or 1 and 2 are in your favorite movies of all time, you're kind of being like a little snob, like, oh, I'm a film snob. But I just think these movies, like, they are as good as everyone says they are. Like, I don't know. Number 3, it's disappointing as shit, but I think it's still fine. Um, and I actually bought The Godfather Coda, which is basically a re-edited version of Godfather Part 3. I got to watch this, but kind of curious to see what kind of changes they made to Godfather 3. And also, speaking of which, got the Dog Father because I adopted 2 dogs. So my brother, his wife, and my nephew got me this shirt, or my nephew got me this shirt. So, anyways, Godzilla. This is the 1998 version. Haven't watched it yet. I heard it's terrible, but I saw it at Blockbuster. I saw it at Best Buy, and it had the slipcover on it. And I know how rare it is to find older movies on 4K with slipcovers. So I picked it up. And it was the only one with a slipcover on it, so I had to buy it. Godzilla 2014 on 4K. This movie is so fucking underrated. It looks amazing on 4K. First of all, I watched this. I think I watched this the day I got it, and the scene where like you finally see Godzilla at the airport, like you can first see his feet step down in the big windows, and then it like pans up and you see him and he screams. I got literal goosebumps down my entire body. I had my soundbar and my sound system cranked, and that moment was so fucking good. I know you don't see Godzilla a lot in that movie, but I still think it's a fucking badass movie. It's a hell of a lot better than this. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I watched this right after that one, right after Godzilla 2014. This movie has some amazing monster action, but it also has some of the dumbest, worst written characters I've ever seen in a big budget blockbuster movie. These characters are so unlikable, so stupid, and if this movie was just about the monsters, I think it would be really good, but unfortunately, about more than half of it is those annoying characters. Anyways, GoldenEye. Gone Baby Gone. Really, really cool Ben Affleck directed movie. This is the first movie Ben Affleck directed. Please check it out if you have not. It's a really cool cop thriller. Speaking of Ben Affleck, Gone Girl. The Good Dinosaur. This movie is fucked up. A boy and a dinosaur get high on berries. It's really, really weird. And a little bunny squirrel thing gets fucking eaten alive by a pterodactyl. It's traumatizing. I got 2 versions of Goodfellas on 4K. I got the Steelbook, which is really hard to find, but Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time, so I had to get the 4K Steelbook. That's incredible. And then this the just normal 4K with the slipcover. This is really hard to find with a slipcover. Like you can't find this at any store. You have to buy this online, like at a eBay or Mercari. I went to a used movie store, the one that I usually go to, like trade-in movies or buy used movies, and right by the register, I walked in to trade in some movies that I upgraded to 4K, and this was by their 4K movies, and it was priced for $10. This thing on Mercari with a slipcover is probably about $40+, which is insane. So before I even went and put my movies up on the countertop for the merchant or whatever, I snatched this thing off that or off the shelf, and I held onto this so damn tight. might have to sell that before they re-release it. I don't know if they will re-release Goodfellas in 4K, but I am I was so excited when I got that. Anyways, Good Will Hunting, one of my favorite movies of all time, in my top 10. Gran Torino, get off my lawn. This is the Grand Budapest Hotel. This is the Criterion version. I'm really excited to check that out. I've heard amazing things. Gravity, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease. Grease is one of my favorite musicals of all time. I watched it a lot when I was younger. Excuse me. The Great Dictator, The Great Gatsby, Great Mouse Detective, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. Green Book, Best Picture winner. I haven't watched it yet. The 4K I found at Best Buy for really cheap, so I picked it up. I'm sure I'll watch it one day. I just don't know when. Green Hornet. This is probably one of the most forgettable superhero movies that came out, maybe ever. Does anyone even remember this movie? I watched this at least 10 times on Stars, I think it was, back in the day when it first came out. Like back in 2010, I think. This movie was on Stars all the time, so I watched that movie a lot. Probably more than anyone ever. The Green Mile. Why am I dropping every goddamn movie? My goodness. Green Room. This movie is brutal. A guy gets his fucking arm sliced to ribbons. Gremlins on 4K. I heard it looks really good, so I'm really excited to check that out. Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I really like. A lot of people hate Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I don't get it. One of my favorite movies of all time, The Guest. This movie is so badass. Please watch this. It's a really short movie. It's about 100 minutes, so hour and a half or so. Go into this movie knowing nothing. Don't watch trailers. Don't look anything up. Please watch this movie. I beg you. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime or anywhere, but find this movie and watch it. You will love it. I guarantee it. You will love it. All right. On to the H's. Hacksaw Ridge. Hail Caesar. I have the Halloween collection on Blu-ray. This has all of them from the original all the way up to Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's one. The first one is obviously the best, which is why I own it on 4K. Yeah, I love the original. Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, is so weird, but I really enjoy it. Halloween and Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie ones, I think aren't terrible. They're different. I still get some enjoyment out of them, but they're not better than the original, obviously. And the rest of them I haven't seen. And then I also own the remake, or whatever you want to call it. Really enjoy this one. I'm excited to see what they do with the sequel. Some really stupid decisions in that movie, but I don't know. The Happening, a movie full of stupid decisions, but somehow it's enjoyable. Happy Gilmore, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. Hard Candy, haven't watched that yet. The Harry Potter 8 movie collection, just watched these for the first time with my fiance a couple months ago. I enjoyed them. I think they all don't have to be 2.5 hours long, but they're still good. The Hateful Eight. I think this movie is super underrated. A lot of people have this like at the bottom of their Quentin Tarantino ranking. I mean it's hard because he's one of the best directors out there, But I really enjoy this movie. Maybe it doesn't need to be 3 hours long, but I think it's still really good. Heat, one of my favorite movies of all time. This movie is incredible. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Hell yeah. Heaven's Gate, the Criterion version. This movie is like 4 hours long. This is the director's cut or whatever this is. This is basically one of the biggest like film fuck ups of all time. Basically, the director got to do whatever he wanted, and he spent way over he went way over budget, and the movie didn't make back nearly as much as it cost. So yeah, Hell or High Water. I have Hellboy and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army on 4K. It's been a while since I've watched Hellboy 1 and 2 as well. I got to rewatch those, especially in 4K. I bet they look really good. Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. I know it's Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, whatever the fuck, but I haven't watched any or either of those yet. Hercules. Hercules. Not a great movie. This movie is not good. Not good at all. Hereditary. The Hills Have Eyes. Wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. Kind of like Devil's Rejects. I thought it was just sadistic for the sake of being sadistic. I don't know. A History of Violence. An amazing movie directed by David Cronenberg. Please check this out if you have not. It's really brutal, but an incredible movie. The Hobbit trilogy on 4K. I haven't watched these yet on 4K. I got to sit down and watch them, especially the director's cuts or the extended versions. Maybe it'll help me like them more. Hocus Pocus, which we are officially getting a sequel to, so that's exciting. Hobbs and Shaw. Hollow Man, another Paul Verhoeven movie that is not a great movie, but goddamn is this entertaining. Kevin Bacon being invisible. Horrible Bosses. Hot Fuzz. Hotel Transylvania. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Love it. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. It's been a while since I've seen it. Can't really give an opinion on it. One of my favorite trilogies of all time, How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon 2, and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. One of my best friends and I, we always have arguments about what's better, How to Train Your Dragon or Shrek. I say How to Train Your Dragon because there is not a bad How to Train Your Dragon movie, whereas Shrek 1 and 2 are good, and the rest of them are not. So, yeah. I think I win that argument. The Howling on 4K. Steelbook, that's just Blu-ray, but I heard this is actually kind of hard to find, like the Steelbook. Really cool. Really glad to have that. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Hunger Games. The Hurt Locker. And finally, The Hustler, Paul Newman. Fuck yeah, love Paul Newman. What a stud. All right, moving on to the eyes. I Saw the Devil. This is probably my favorite foreign film of all time. This is also probably the most disturbing and brutal film I've ever seen. It is so terrifying, so horrific, but absolutely incredible. If you can handle really brutal violence, really brutal subject matter, this movie is incredible. It's basically this like agent's this guy's an agent, and his wife is brutally murdered. His pregnant wife is brutally murdered by a serial killer. So the agent tracks down the serial killer and will like torture him, but he doesn't kill him. he'll like cut off his fingers or something, and then he'll just let the killer go. And then like a little while later, he'll find the killer again and torture him again. And it's basically like this back and forth cat and mouse game. It is so intense. I cannot recommend this movie enough if you can handle it. Please check it out if you can handle it. Anyways, I Love You, Man. I, Tanya. The Ides of March. Impractical Jokers, the movie. I love the Impractical Jokers. I saw them live with my buddy, my fiance, and my buddy's girlfriend. I just get a kick out of these guys. I think they're super funny. Whenever I'm in a bad mood or upset, I always put their show on and it cheers me right up. In Bruges. So I have In Search of Darkness Part 1 and In Search of Darkness Part 2. These are both 80s horror documentaries, basically diving into 80s horror movies. And they have a lot of interviews and really cool information about 80s horror. And as a horror fan, they're awesome. I have yet to finish them, but they're awesome. In the Heat of the Night, Best Picture winner. That's the Criterion version. In the Line of Fire, really cool Clint Eastwood action movie, and we're getting a 4K version sometime soon, so I might have to upgrade to that. In the Valley of Ella, Eli, I don't know how you say that. In Time, fuck yeah, Inception, one of my favorite movies of all time, absolutely incredible. Speaking of which, Incredible Hulk. Got The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2. I enjoy both of them. Independence Day. Hell yeah. Indiana Jones, The Complete Adventures. These are probably now in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. At least the first three only. Raiders, incredible. Temple of Doom, probably the lesser of the three, but still amazing. And Last Crusade is easily my favorite. It's probably one of my most rewatchable movies of all time. And this collection right here is going to be getting traded in soon because in a couple of weeks I will have the 4K versions on Steelbook. I'm so goddamn excited to watch those in 4K. Fuck yeah, let's go. Anyways, The Infiltrator. Inglourious Bastards. I want my scalps. My favorite Pixar movie of all time, Inside Out. Is this 4K? Yep, 4K Steelbook. I absolutely adore Inside Out, and I really hope we get a sequel sometime soon. Insidious Chapter 2, and Insidious Chapter 3. I think Insidious Chapter 3 is actually better than Chapter 2. This is actually directed by Lee Winnell, the guy who directed Upgrade and the new Invisible Man movie that came out last year. But all three of them are really enjoyable. Insomnia. Instant Family, really sweet movie, a lot of heart, really enjoy it. Interstellar. The Interview. I just had a guy at Best Buy, a worker, walk up to me the other day after I checked out. He was like, "Hey, have you ever watched that Seth Rogen, James Franco movie where they interviewed that guy from North Korea?" And I was like, "The Interview?" And he's like, "Yeah, that one. It's a really funny movie." And I was just like, "Dude, where the fuck did this conversation come from? Like, I was on my way out the door." Anyways, sat there for 5 minutes talking about the movie. The Invisible Man, really cool horror movie from last year. The Invitation. The Irishman, Criterion Collection. Really excited, or really glad to have that. We got Iron Man, Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 is obviously the best. The Island. Got It and It Chapter 2. I still can't believe this movie is almost 3 hours long. Like, that just makes me not want to watch this movie ever again. Like, I don't know. I just have no ambition to really watch either of these movies again. I don't know. It Follows, really cool horror movie from 2014, I think this came out. But really cool movie. Check it out if you have not. It's a Wonderful Life, classic Christmas movie from the 30s or 40s. When did this come out? 40s, 1946. And finally, The Italian Job with Marky Mark Wahlberg. That's it for the I's. All right, on to the J's. Starting out with Jackie Brown. Hell yeah. Got Jaws, one of my favorite movies of all time. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I've only watched that once. Don't really know how well it holds up. Got John Wick. John Wick Chapter 2. And John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. I love all three of these movies. I think number 3 probably has the best action, but I think I like the first one the best. And I'm really excited for, I think we're getting a 4 and 5, so I'm excited to watch both those. Jojo Rabbit. Joker. You got Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Jumanji: The Next Level. I've only seen the first. I've only seen Welcome to the Jungle. I enjoyed it, and I've yet to watch The Next Level. I have The Jungle Book, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. I have The Jungle Book 2, which I watched a lot as a kid. I begged my parents to get me this on VHS when it first came out. Took a lot of begging, but I finally got it, and I watched the shit out of it. So it's kind of just a nostalgic movie. And then the remake, which I actually really like as well. Probably Disney's best remake. Might be their only good one, too. Juno. I have the Jurassic Park 5 movie collection. This has Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and Fallen Kingdom. Honestly, the first Jurassic Park is pretty much the only good movie out of these, or like great movie. It's so weird that a franchise like as popular as Jurassic Park only has like one great movie. The rest of them are all kind of just, I don't know, like they don't capture the magic. Speaking of not capturing the magic, Justice League, not Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is the clusterfuck that I watched once and probably will never watch again. I really hope we get Zack Snyder's Justice League on 4K though, because I really enjoyed it. Don't know how many times I'd watch it since it's 4 hours long. Holy shit. But I think it's a hell of a lot better than that. And then I picked up Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. I heard good things about this one. I do like the DC animated movies. I don't watch a lot of them. Majority of them are the Batman ones. But I heard this one's actually really good, and a lot of heroes apparently die in it. So, I don't know, some stakes. I like it. But that's it for the J's. Moving on to the K's, we got The Karate Kid. This is the remake with Jaden Smith. I haven't watched any of the Karate Kid movies. This I think I got for like $1 at St. Vinny's thrift store. Kick-Ass. I don't know. Like I loved Kick-Ass when I first watched it. I just don't really know if I'd enjoy this movie anymore. I mean, Nicolas Cage, obviously, but the rest of the movie, I don't know. Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. I prefer Kill Bill Volume 2, which I know is a bit controversial. Killer Joe, where Matthew McConaughey makes a woman give him a blowjob using a chicken tender. moving on. King Kong, the Peter Jackson one. I feel like I should upgrade to 4K for that. I watched that movie a lot when I was younger. The King of Staten Island. Haven't watched it yet. The King's Speech, the movie that stole the Best Picture win from The Social Network. Kingdom of Heaven. Kingsman: The Secret Service, and Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I really enjoy Secret Service, and Golden Circle was pretty disappointing. Wasn't a big fan of it. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. A Knight's Tale. I love this movie. This movie is incredible. It's got Heath Ledger playing the knight. It's got an awesome soundtrack, one of the best of all time. It's just a fun movie. It's got a lot of humor, and yeah, it's just badass. I watched that all the time when I was younger. Knives Out. Really excited for Knives Out 2 and 3. I think we're getting Knocked Up. I watched this movie with my parents when it first came out. I would have been like 10 or 11 at the time. That was really awkward. Super awkward. But really funny movie. Kong Skull Island. I get a lot of enjoyment out of this movie. It's not great, but I think it's enjoyable. Krampus. Kubo and the Two Strings. Basically, if Legend of the this movie is basically if Legend of Zelda got made into a movie. That's kind of what this is. And finally, I got Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Kung Fu Panda 3. I finally found 1 and 2 at my used movie store, and I had to pick it up. I had to pick them up to complete the trilogy. All right, moving on to the L's. Got L.A. Confidential, La La Land. I love La La Land. I gotta upgrade to a 4K for this so I can rewatch it. But I really love La La Land. I don't care what people say. Lady Bird. Last Action Hero. I got double feature here. Got Last Man Standing and The Last Boy Scout. I bought this for The Last Boy Scout because I watched it a lot when I was younger on VHS, even though I probably shouldn't have because it's really graphic and mature and a lot of swearing. But I just rewatched it. I enjoyed it, not as much as I thought I would, but still thought it was decent. And Last Man Standing, I still have to watch. The Last King of Scotland. Last Samurai. Amazing movie. Super, super underrated. Law Abiding Citizen. This movie could have been amazing if it would have had a better ending. I think the ending pretty much fucks this movie up big time, but still really good, I think. Or enjoyable. Enjoyable, I'll say. Lawless. Legend with Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy. Legend of Tarzan. I've yet to watch this. Kind of just a weird movie. Here we go. We got the Lego Movie. Love this movie. It's amazing. Lego Movie 2, the second part. I watched a little bit of it, but fell asleep. So I enjoyed what I watched. It's not like it was bad. Just got to rewatch it. Lego Batman Movie. I cried laughing in theaters with this movie. I saw it with 2 of my buddies. All 3 of us are big Batman fans. This movie, like within the first 10 minutes, like I was just dying of laughter. But yeah, that's how childish I am. And the Lego Ninjago movie. I've yet to watch it. Leon the Professional, great movie. The Lethal Weapon collection, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lethal Weapon 1, incredible. One of the best action movies of all time. I actually just watched Lethal Weapon 2 like 1 or 2 weeks ago. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Probably a little less than the first one, but I still really liked it. And 3 and 4 I heard aren't that great, so I'm kind of just, I don't know, I'm kind of dreading watching those two. Let's Be Cops, Liar Liar, I'm kicking my ass. The Light Between Oceans, that is definitely my fiance's. The Lighthouse, fuck yes, this movie is incredible. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson in a lighthouse together. Willem Dafoe farting so many times. This movie is funny. It's terrifying. It's so intriguing. It is unlike anything I've ever seen. A lot of people might watch this, like the common movie watcher might watch this and hate it. I fucking love this movie. It is so weird and bizarre. Robert Eggers is 2 for 2 for me in directing. Lights Out, really underrated horror movie. It's really short. It's only 81 minutes. I think this came out in like 2016. 2016 was a great year for horror movies, so I think kind of just maybe got lost in the shuffle. But check this out if you have not. It's a really short movie, but it's really solid. It'd be really cool if we got a sequel to that. That's a movie that's prime for a sequel. Got The Lion King, my favorite animated movie of all time, 4K. I get to watch it on 4K, but I love it. Lion King remake, was not a fan of it. Basically a copy and paste of the original. Little Mermaid, is this 4K? Yes, this is 4K. It's been a while since I've watched Little Mermaid, but I used to watch it. I used to watch like every Disney movie all the time when I was younger. Like anytime we had free time, my brother and I would watch any Disney movie. Little Women, I bought that for my fiance. Live by Night, I was pretty disappointed by this movie. I love Ben Affleck as a director. Gone Baby Gone and The Town are some of my favorite movies of all time. I was a little let down by this, but it's enjoyable to watch at least once. Logan on 4K, one of the best superhero movies of all time. London Has Fallen. He's in the way. I don't know if those are in the way. Lone Survivor. Long Shot. This is a really funny, sweet movie that came out a couple years ago. Please watch it if you haven't. It's really funny. It's got a lot of heart. Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron have great chemistry, which you wouldn't expect, but I got a kick out of that movie. Looper. The Lorax. I think this is my sister's movie, and she just gave it to me. Fuck yes. Lord of the Rings, my favorite movies of all time. Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is the 4K collector's edition, I think this is. Yeah, this thing's incredible. I just watched those earlier this year, last year, on 4K. They look immaculate. I love them. They're perfect movies. Yeah. Lord of War. Triple pack here, triple feature. The Losers, Rock and Rolla, and Shoot 'em Up. Bought this for Shoot 'em Up because it's a really enjoyable action movie. Rock and Rolla, it's fine. I'm not the biggest Guy Ritchie fan. And The Losers, I don't even really remember a whole lot about it. Love Actually. Love Simon. And finally, Lucky Number 11. I have not watched that yet, but I heard good things. All right, on to the M's. Kicking it off with MacGruber. I gotta watch that. I've seen clips of it and parts of it, but not the full thing. I got Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Mad Max Fury Road Steelbook 4K. Love this movie. Love this Steelbook. It's incredible. The movie looks pristine on 4K. Probably the best looking action movie of all time, I think. Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. It's kind of weird that I think this is also my sister's movie. I guess I'll have to pick up 1 and 2 whenever I find them. The Magnificent Seven remake from a couple years ago. Mallrats. Man of Steel, Man on Fire, Marley and Me, one of my favorite movies of all time, Marriage Story, came out 2 years ago. Was my second favorite movie that year. This movie is incredible, and I'm so thankful for the Criterion Collection for putting this out because I adore that movie. The Martian. Got to upgrade to 4K for The Martian because it's a really good movie. The Mask of Zorro. Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. I think this would be a really cool TV show. If this, like, HBO picked this up for a TV show, I think that'd be really cool. The Matrix. The only Matrix movie I own is the first one. Not the biggest Matrix fan. Even the first one, I got to rewatch it. But even the first one, I wasn't blown away by it because I saw it so late in life. I was just like, kind of seen this before. Like, I know it was revolutionary at the time, but I didn't see it at the time. I saw it years later, but it's still fine. And apparently we're getting a number 4 sometime soon, so that's going to be interesting to say the least. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Memento. Just picked this up not too long ago on Criterion. Memories of Murder. This is directed by Bong Joon-ho, the man who directed Parasite. And I heard this movie is incredible, so I'm super excited to watch it. Yeah, Memories of Murder. I love Bong Joon-ho's movies, so. Miami Vice. Michael Clayton. Right. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Miller's Crossing. Minority Report. Wow. Misery movie is brutal. Here we go. Got the Mission Impossible 6 movie collection on 4K. This obviously has from Mission Impossible 1 all the way up to Fallout. Fallout is in my top 10 favorite action movies of all time. I think that movie is incredible. But I only owned a couple of them on Blu-ray. So I sold those and I bought this entire collection because I have yet to watch Mission Impossible 1 and 2. But all the rest of them I really enjoy. So, yeah. I have Moana on 4K, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. My fiance and I love this movie. And this has some of the best animation I've ever seen. The water. This movie is just so colorful. I love the music in the movie as well. The score and the songs, I think, are incredible. So, yeah, Moana. I hope we get a sequel to that because I really love it. Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin. I gotta sit down and just watch all 3 of my Charlie Chaplin movies someday. Moneyball. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, one of the funniest movies of all time. Mother, one of the most divisive movies I've seen recently. I love this movie. I think it's really weird, bizarre, and a lot of people would probably hate it, but I just like what Darren Aronofsky did. I love his direction. The performances were incredible. And yeah, like the symbolism was pretty much nailing you on the head, but I didn't mind it. Like I just kind of like to see where directors take me with their stories, and I loved what Darren Aronofsky did there. Mud. Mulan 1 and 2. Mulan 1, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. I have not watched the remake, and I don't really have any interest to. My Bloody Valentine 3D. I think I bought that at Goodwill for like $1 or so. And finally, Mystic River. Is that my daughter in there? Alright, starting out with the ends. Got the Naked Gun trilogy. I just watched The Naked Gun, the first one, about a month or 2 ago. I laughed my ass off watching that movie. It is so damn funny, held up. Naked Gun 2 and 3 have yet to watch. I heard they're both pretty funny. Spoof movies are just hard to do nowadays, but they nailed them down in the 80s and like the early 90s. And I think Naked Gun, number one at least, is one of the best. Natural Born Killers, director's cut. I have yet to watch that. I have Neighbors 1 and Neighbors 2. I really like Neighbors 1. Neighbors 2, not so much. There's some funny moments, but I really don't really remember a whole lot of that movie. The Nice Guys, a movie that deserves more than any movie I can think of recently a sequel. This movie should be a franchise. Shane Black writing and directing, but you have perfect chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. This is also one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. Um, Nice Guy is super underrated, and shame on you if you have not seen it. The Night Before, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I think it's super funny. Nightcrawler, great movie. Nightmare Before Christmas. My favorite horror movie of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the collection. This has all the way from the original to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And I have the remake, which I don't really like, but it's like my favorite horror franchise of all time. So the remake, it's disappointing, but I just own it. But I really hope we get a new collection because this collection kind of sucks. Like for movies this good, or at least the first one, I just wish we got a better collection than this. This thing's just kind of crappy. I don't know. I hope Arrow or Scream Factory or someone, probably Scream Factory. I hope they put out a new collection sometime soon of that. No Country, wow, No Country for Old Men, one of my favorite movies of all time. This movie is perfect, I think. And finally, No Strings Attached. That's it for the ends. I thought I had a lot more than that, but I guess not. All right, on to the O's, kicking it off with the Oceans trilogy. Oceans 11, 12, and 13. I've only watched Oceans 11, love it. Oceans 12, I watched a little bit of, but I was getting tired, so I just turned it off. And Oceans 13, I have not watched any of it. Oculus, Office Space, Old School, Frank the Tank, Oliver and Company, Olympus Has Fallen, On the Waterfront, Marlon Brando, Best Picture winner, Elia Kazan. Once Upon a Time in America, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. I think this movie is overrated. I think it's really well made, and the performances are incredible. Direction is really good. I hated every single character in this movie. I've watched the extended version. That was the version I watched, all 251 minutes of it. I hated every single character in this movie. It was almost a chore to get through because I didn't care what happened. So I was really excited because it's Robert De Niro, Sergio Leone in like a mob movie or a gangster movie, and I don't know, just wasn't a fan. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of the most rewatchable movies recently. I could pop this on any day and just enjoy the hell out of it. The Oranges, my fiance I think bought this because I have no idea what the fuck it is. The Other Guys, one of my favorite comedies of all time. Love it. And finally, Overlord. This movie is so goddamn underrated. More people should watch this movie. This movie is a total blast. Excuse me. Came out a couple years ago. It's basically if like Nazi zombies from Call of Duty was turned into a movie. It's like a World War II movie where these people happen upon a German laboratory where all these people are testing out and making zombies basically. Not as many zombies in this movie as you'd think, but this movie is just a blast. Plus, it has Kurt Russell's son in it being a badass. Like, this is the kind of movie Kurt Russell would be in back in like the 80s. And so I love Overlord. I think it's a blast, and I think a sequel to it would be badass. All right, on to the P's. We are starting off with Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, two Guillermo del Toro movies in a row. It is convenient. Well, I have the Paranormal Activity 6-movie collection. I haven't watched any of these yet, but the collection was super cheap on Amazon, so picked it up. Just, I don't know, got to find the inspiration to watch it. Parasite, one of the best movies in recent memory. I love it. I have to rewatch it on 4K, but I enjoy that movie a lot. Patriot, I've said it in multiple videos. This is the first R-rated movie I've ever watched. Super violent, but I love this movie. Mel Gibson gives a great performance. Heath Ledger is amazing as his son. And it just has really cool battle scenes. An awesome score by John Williams. And one of the most underrated villains in movie history, I think. Jason Isaacs plays a despicable piece of shit in this movie, and I love it. He's so evil. Patriots Day. A Perfect Getaway. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Pet Sematary, the original, and Pet Sematary, the remake. Honestly, I think the original is better. It has way worse the acting in this is way worse. Besides, what's his name? Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn as the neighbor is incredible, but the rest of the acting is terrible. But the remake was such a letdown. They could have done, like, first of all, the trailers ruined this movie. They gave away everything in this movie. So if you watched the trailers before you saw this, yeah, you got screwed over just like me. But either way, like, they could have gone and done some unique things with the remake, and I don't know, it's kind of bland. Peter Pan. This 4K, or is this just Blu-ray? This is just the Blu-ray, but Peter Pan. Pineapple Express, one of my favorite comedies of all time. I love this movie. Pinocchio, one of the most terrifying animated movies of all time. I have the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy here. This has Curse of Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. It's been a while since I've seen these. I gotta rewatch those. And I have Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I do not own On Stranger Tides. I've seen it, and I just was not a fan of it, and I probably will never watch it again. But I have yet to watch Dead Men Tell No Tales. So I have Planet of the Apes trilogy on 4K. This has Rise, Dawn, and War. I love all three of these movies. It's probably one of the best trilogies in recent memory. And I think Dawn might be my favorite. But that's a trilogy I could watch with my fiance, and I think she would really like it. So I'm going to probably end up watching those soon. Point Break. Popstar. Never Stop, Never Stopping. Possessor, uncut version. This movie is fucked up and bizarre, but I really... did I enjoy it? I don't know if I enjoyed this movie or not. I don't know. It's so weird and bizarre. It's directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who is the son of David Cronenberg. And you can kind of tell, because this is the kind of movie David Cronenberg would direct, but super graphic movie, but really intriguing as well. One of the more unique movies I've seen in a while. We got the Predator 4-movie collection. This has Predator, Predator 2, Predators, and the shit bomb that is The Predator from 2018. I fucking hate that movie. But Predator 1, classic 80s action movie. Haven't watched Predator 2 yet. And Predators is enjoyable. Has some flaws. The Prestige. This might be one of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. Like it might start climbing up the ranks in Christopher Nolan rankings for me. One of my favorite movies of all time. Probably one of the most rewatchable movies of all time. The Princess Bride. This is the Criterion version. This thing is awesome because it's kind of like just like a storybook. I love this. But then you finally got the movie there. But this thing is awesome. Princess Bride. If you don't like that movie, go fuck yourself. Sorry, I am swearing a lot in this video, but anyways, Prisoners. Project X, movie that I don't even know if I ever will watch this movie ever again. Prometheus. Talked about this earlier with the Alien movies. I think this movie looks amazing. Like, beautiful, jaw-dropping visuals in this movie. But some of the dumbest characters ever in a sci-fi movie, especially directed by Ridley Scott. You'd think Ridley, like, if he would have just written the characters to be a little bit smarter, this movie could have been. I think I would have really enjoyed this movie. I still get some enjoyment out of it, but I think it could have been a lot better. Speaking of it could have been a lot better, Public Enemies. Michael Mann doing a gangster movie. I think that could have been amazing, and it's kind of just forgettable. They shot part of this movie in a hotel that I worked. I didn't work in, like, I did some maintenance work or like some repair work in this hotel where they shot some of the scenes of this movie, and the guy working at the hotel is like an old time hotel building, but it was really cool. The guy working there kind of showed us around like where they shot scenes in this movie. It was really cool. So I might have to go back and kind of watch those scenes, see where they shot at that hotel. But anyways, and finally, the last P, Pulp Fiction. Fucking love Pulp Fiction. If we ever got a 4K of that, why don't we get Quentin Tarantino movies in 4K? Come on, give it to us. People will buy them. All right, kicking off the cues. I only have 2 cues, so we got Quarantine. I watched this with my brother when it first came out and scared the shit out of me. I actually watched this like on YouTube, the entire movie on YouTube, and it's still scared the shit out of me. Don't know if I watched it since though. And A Quiet Place, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. The sequel comes out, I think, next weekend. I already have tickets to go see it with my buddy. I'm so excited to see it in theaters. I wish I would have saw this one in theaters, but a lot more emotional than you'd expect. But I love this movie. It's incredible. And that's it for the cues. On to the R's, and we are kicking it off with Raging Bull. I like this movie, but I don't really have any desire to go back and watch it again. Robert De Niro gives one of the best performances of all time in this movie, but I just dislike his character. I dislike his character so much that I don't know. But Joe Pesci also is incredible in that movie. It's so damn good. The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2, 2 of the best action movies of all time. Check them out if you haven't. Have Ralph Breaks the Internet, Rambo, Rampage, Rango. Give me back my son! Ransom. Fuck yes. I have to rewatch this movie. I'm not a big Ron Howard fan, but this is probably my favorite movie he's directed. I watched this with my dad and I think it was my dad and like my brother, like long time ago when I was younger. I think it was like just on TV, and it scared the shit out of me because they're obviously just kidnapping a little kid, and I was like, well, that's terrifying. But really good movie. Really awesome Mel Gibson performance and Gary Sinise as well. Ratatouille. Just picked this up the other day. Raya and the Last Dragon. I watched this last night with not last night. 2 nights ago? Yeah, 2 nights ago. Sorry, with my fiance. I love this movie. I thought this movie was really cool. Beautiful animation, really good voice acting, Really cool world building as well. Um, I also thought the pace of the movie was actually really good. Like anytime I thought there'd be a scene where it'd like slow down or like I'd get kind of bored, it'd actually like there'd be a moment where it'd like pick up and I'd be intrigued and I'd be like, oh, that scene like mattered. So really cool movie. A lot of people didn't really see this. I mean, it came out during quarantine, so but really check it out. It reminded me a lot of Moana, so that is a good thing. Ready or Not, this movie is awesome. Uh, Basically like a horror comedy. Check it out if you have not. It's really cool. Ready Player One, Reanimator, The Replacements, one of my favorite Keanu Reeves movies. I watched this all the time when I was younger. And this is just one of those feel good movies that I love to watch. It's not a great movie, but it's heartwarming and it just makes you feel good. The Rescuers and The Rescuers Down Under. I gotta rewatch both of these. I watched them a lot when I was younger, but Reservoir Dogs, one of my favorite movies of all time. Just rewatched this a couple months ago. Still holds up, still funny, still quotable, still badass. The Revenant, and this is actually the Blu-ray slipcover, but got it on 4K. Um, I just like slipcovers, and this slipcover you can't really tell that it's a Blu-ray one. So, but The Revenant, I love that movie. A lot of people hate on it because it's overlong and it's really artsy, but I love it. Um, Sorry. Revenge. This movie is really disturbing, really hard to watch, but it's also really great revenge movie where this girl gets assaulted by three men and then she basically brutalizes the three of them throughout the movie, and it's really good, really well made. The Ring, Roadhouse, one of the best cheesy guilty pleasure movies of all time. This movie is badass, and I have to watch it soon because it's been a while. Road to Perdition, The Road Warrior, Robin Hood, probably in my top three favorite Disney movies of all time, if not top two. I love this movie. It's incredible, and I could watch this movie basically every day, and it's got awesome music, and it's really funny. Robin Hood Men, Robin Hood Men in Tights. It's been a while since I've seen this. I watched it when I was younger, laughed my ass off, but it's been a while since, so I don't know how well it holds up. And it's basically a parody of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which I also watched a lot when I was younger. I definitely have to I have to rewatch so many of my movies. I'm sorry, but this is definitely one I have to rewatch soon because it's been a while. But I remember enjoying Prince of Thieves a lot when I was younger. RoboCop, one of the most graphic, violent, badass movies of all time. Paul Verhoeven, you're awesome. RoboCop the remake, I got this for $1 at the dollar store. I have not watched it yet, but I don't know. Don't really know if I want to. The Rock. Fuck yes, I love this movie. It's in my top 10 favorite action movies of all time. A lot of people, so Nicolas Cage made The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off, all three of those movies in a row. That is one of the best one, two, three punches of movies I think any actor has ever done. And a lot of people have The Rock at the bottom of that list. It'd be at the top of that list for me. It'd probably go The Rock, Con Air, and then Face Off. But The Rock is just so damn rewatchable. I have the Rocky Heavyweight Collection. This has from the first Rocky all the way up to Rocky Balboa. So 6 movies there. Role Models, one of my favorite comedies. One of the most underrated comedies, I think. It's really funny. Ronin. Haha. Hey, movie. The Room. Oh, The Room. My buddy and I, one of my best friends, we fucking love this movie. It is so bad, but goddamn is this movie entertaining as hell. Um, yeah, I think I've seen this movie at least 4 or 5 times. I'm sure I'll see it again. I just watched it a couple months ago with him. Oh, hi, movie. What the story, Mark? Anyways, Run All Night. I have not watched that yet. Running Scared, really good movie with a terrifying scene with Vera Farmiga in a house with two pedophiles. But and Rush. This is also directed by Ron Howard, and it's a movie that I probably will never watch ever again. I liked it, but I don't know. Ron Howard just kind of makes movies that I just think are kind of bleh. All right, moving on to the S's, which is easily the most movies I have of that letter. San Andreas, The Sandlot, classic childhood movie. Sausage Party, Saving Private Ryan, my favorite war movie of all time. It's incredible. Scarface, I just watched this 2 days ago for the first time in a long time. I enjoyed this movie. I think it's too long. I think there's some parts that could have been cut out, and the 4K of this does not look good. It's kind of a shitty quality 4K, I think. I don't know what other people think, but I just thought like quality wise, it just wasn't that great. But yeah, I like Scarface. Just don't know if I have any ambition to rewatch it. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Schindler's List. Scream 1 and Scream 4, the only two that I've seen. I like both of those movies. Serenity, one of my favorite movies of all time. A Serious Man. Seven, one of the best movies of all time. Love it. Seven Psychopaths. Seven Samurai. Shadow. I have to watch this movie. I get to watch it, but I heard it's really good. Shape of Water. It's kind of weird that this movie won Best Picture looking back at it, especially with all the movies that came out that year. I think this is the year that, like, Get Out, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri came out. Like, I don't know, I would have been fine if one of those movies would have won. It's a good movie. I just don't think it deserved to win Best Picture. Shaun of the Dead. Shawshank Redemption. Hope we get a 4K of this really soon. Shazam! Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. The Shining on 4K. I heard this looks amazing on 4K, so I'm really excited to check that out. Showgirls. Paul Verhoeven. Back at it again. This movie is insane, but it's entertaining. That's for damn sure. It is entertaining. Shutter Island. I was gonna upgrade Shutter Island to 4K, but I've only watched it once, and I just don't really have an ambition to watch it again. It's not a movie I want to rewatch that many times. Sicario. Sideways. Silence. Hell yeah, look at this. Silence of the Lambs, Criterion version. This is probably my favorite Criterion collection cover and everything, like artwork. This is so beautiful. One of the best movies of all time. I love Silence of the Lambs. It's incredible. So I already owned it on Blu-ray, but that Criterion collection version was just so beautiful. I had to pick it up. Silver Bullet, just bought this not too long ago. It's a Stephen King werewolf movie with Gary Busey. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Count me in. Silver Linings Playbook. The Simpsons movie. I watched that a lot when I was younger. Don't know how well it holds up. Sin City. The Sixth Sense. Skyfall. Skyscraper. Slapshot, Paul Newman. I have yet to watch this, but I mean, fucking love Paul Newman. He's my man. Sleeping Beauty. Small Soldiers. This just got released on Blu-ray not too long ago, so I had to pick it up. This is a childhood classic for me. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I had to pick that up. Smokey and the Bandit. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm going to have to make room on this table, my goodness. I'm only halfway done with the S's. Snowpiercer, Bong Joon-ho, back at it again. The Social Network. This is kind of a shitty cover, but Social Network, it's an amazing movie. Society. This is the Arrow release. I know what this movie is about, and I know like the ending of the movie that has its reputation, but really excited to check that out. Sonic the Hedgehog. I've yet to watch it. Sorcerer. Amazing William Friedkin movie. Check it out if you have not. It's super intense. South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut. I am not a South Park fan. I don't even know if I've watched an entire episode, but this was really cheap at Best Buy years ago, back when I was like in high school, and my buddies were big South Park fans, so I bought this in case they ever came over and wanted to watch something. So, Southpaw, Spectre. Just got this not too long ago. This is the Speed 4K Steelbook. Love Speed, so that's awesome. Spider-Man trilogy. I actually was just looking to buy this trilogy on 4K because I love Spider-Man 1 and especially 2. And Spider-Man 3, not a great movie, but it's kind of just nostalgic for me because I watched it so much as a kid. And back as a kid, I thought it was amazing as well. So I love this trilogy, even if 3 is disappointing. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home, and we will be getting Spider-Man No Way Home, I think that's what it's called, later this year. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, one of my favorite animated movies of all time, one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I think this movie is incredible, and I'm so excited for a sequel. Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. Spirited Away. Split. We have the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water. I watched this all the time when I was younger, and I loved it. So I'm sure if I pop this on, it'll just be like a wave of nostalgia taking me over. But yeah, I love SpongeBob. It's so enjoyable. Spotlight. Spy. I'm running out of room on my table. Stand By Me, one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a classic coming of age film, and I gotta find that 4K of it. I know it's out on 4K, so I gotta find that. A Star Is Born. Star Trek 2009. Star Trek Into Darkness. And Star Trek Beyond. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I do love all 3 of these movies. Like all the other, like the older Star Trek, I haven't watched any of it. On to the last pile. All right, here we go. Star Wars: A New Hope. Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith. Force Awakens. The Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker. Rogue One. And Solo, Star Wars movie. This is the only Star Wars movie I've yet to watch. Once again, Ron Howard, you strike again. It's just disappointing because they had Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the people who wrote 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Lego Movie, Into the Spider-Verse. They were going to direct this movie, and I was so excited. And then they got fired because they had creative differences with Disney. And I think that I'm still excited to watch Solo, but if those guys would have been directing it, I would have watched this in theaters like day one. But as it is, I've yet to watch it. But Star Wars, I mean, it's Star Wars. It's one of the best franchises of all time. All three of the original, love them. Prequels, disappointing. Revenge of the Sith is obviously the best one. Attack of the Clones is probably my least favorite Star Wars movie, or the worst Star Wars movie, I think. And then the sequel trilogy, really like Force Awakens. Guess what, haters? I love The Last Jedi. There are a couple of things that could have been better. I think the Finn and Rose storyline could have been done a lot better. But other than that, I love everything about this movie. I think the direction they took with Luke Skywalker, yeah, I think is awesome. Yeah, he's not going to be the same character he was fucking 40 years ago, guys. So, yeah, but I also think this is probably the best looking Star Wars movie. And my most disappointing movie of all time is The Rise of Skywalker. I know it's so new, and it's kind of shocking that this would be the most disappointing movie of all time, but this is supposed to be the conclusion to all of the Star Wars movies, to the conclusion to the Skywalker saga. And I think they kind of fucked it up big time. This movie had no balls to do anything brave or to go any unique directions. The fact that they brought Palpatine back sucked dick. Fucking stupid that they brought him back. I just thought this movie was generic, and yeah, really disappointed by it. And then Rogue One, I enjoy. It's a half of a good movie. The first half is a snore, but the second half picks up a lot more. So yeah, yeah, we're not done with the S's yet, though. Starship Troopers, fucking love this movie. Paul Verhoeven, you son of a bitch, you made it, but. Starship Troopers, I love. So good. Step Brothers. The Sting on 4K. I just bought this Steelbook the other day at Best Buy. Holy shit. This is the 4K Steelbook edition, so that's awesome. Straight Outta Compton. The Strangers. Suicide Squad, which we are getting a new one sometime soon. Super Troopers. Superbad. SWAT, that is a guilty pleasure of mine. Swingers. And The Sword and the Stone, another one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. All right, moving on to the T's. Starting off with Tangled, which I think is better than Frozen. I said it. Taxi Driver, Ted 1, and Ted 2. Funny story with Ted 2, or Ted 1, either one, I can't remember. When I watched The Conjuring the first night with my friends down in my bedroom basement at my parents' house, I was so terrified that we were also terrified that we ended up having to watch, I can't remember which Ted it was, but we ended up watching one of them just to kind of like calm our nerves and like get us in a better mood. And I still went to bed with all the lights on, so it didn't really help. Tenet, I got to rewatch that on 4K with subtitles. We got The Terminator and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. A lot of people shit on this 4K. I didn't think it looked terrible. There were a couple of parts where the skin tones were off. Other than that, I thought this actually looked really good, and it's one of the best movies of all time. So, Terminator Dark Fate, super disappointing. Could have been a lot better. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw this when I was like in 4th or 5th grade, and it scared the shit out of me. This one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Like if I watched it now, like if I would have watched this for the first time now, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But since I saw it at such a young age, it terrified me. So thanks a lot, Dad. That awkward moment. There Will Be Blood. An amazing movie. I need to throw all my goddamn movies around. The Thing. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. This thing. This movie is fucking incredible. Watch it if you have not. It's so goddamn good. Um, don't watch this one, the Thing remake. This actually could have been a good movie, but they actually shot this movie with practical effects. And then like right before they were about to release it, the studio like panicked and then they just covered all the practical effects with CGI. The CGI in this movie is fucking god awful. It is so bad. It ruins the movie for me, honestly. If they would have just stuck with practical effects, that would have been a pretty good like remake, sequel, prequel. But this is the end. This is actually a movie I want to rewatch soon. I laughed my ass off seeing that in theaters, so I'm excited to rewatch that. This Means War, the Thomas Crown Affair, which I didn't. I think I got this with that Blu-ray bundle I was talking about earlier with that Anne Frank movie. So obviously I've not watched that. We have Thor, Thor: The Dark World, and Thor: Ragnarok. Thor: The Dark World sucks. Thor: Ragnarok is awesome, and Thor 1 is fine. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think this probably should have won Best Picture. I think the year that Shape of Water won. I love this movie. Frances McDormand gives one of my favorite performances of all time in this. So yeah, I love that movie. A Time to Kill. Titanic. Fucking love Titanic. One of my favorite movies of all time. I don't care what you say. Yeah, sure, there's some cheesy moments, but I think it's an incredibly well made movie. And I really hope we get a 4K of this. James Cameron, get off your fucking ass. Supervise 4K of that. Tomb Raider, probably one of the best video game adaptations I've seen. I enjoyed this one. And I just for a heads up for video game adaptations, I loved the new Mortal Kombat movie. It's not a great movie. I know that. I know it's not a well written movie. The acting can be. I just had a blast with it. It gave me everything I wanted in a Mortal Kombat movie. It was bloody. It was awesome fights. Some of the editing was shitty in the fights, but it was just badass, good time. So that's all I wanted from it. Tombstone. Fuck yes, Tombstone is awesome. I love this movie. Val Kilmer should have won an Oscar for Doc Holliday because he is so damn cool. Tombstone. Probably my number one guilty pleasure film of all time. Torque. This movie sucks. This movie is shit. It is not a great movie. The writing is awful. Performances are pretty bad. Direction, I don't know what the fuck was anyone directing this movie. But goddamn, do I love this movie. It is. I watched this all the time when I was younger. It is so quotable. I watched this again for the first time in a long time, just a couple months ago, and goddamn, did I have a blast. Torque, fucking so bad, but I love it. Total Recall, one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of all time. Love it. Incredible. The Town, top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love Ben Affleck's direction of this movie. I think the script is incredible. Jeremy Renner gives an amazing performance. So everyone gives an amazing performance in this. Blake Lively gives a great performance in this movie. But bank robbery movie set in Boston, that's right up my alley. The Town is incredible. I have Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4. I love every single one of these movies, even Toy Story 4. I know a lot of people weren't fans of it. I loved it. I went to go see it. I got done with classes in college, or one of my classes in college. I got done with my class and I went to the theater by myself to see that, and it was kind of weird because I was a 20-something-year-old guy sitting in a theater full of kids and their parents, but still had a blast with that movie. It's still amazing. Train to Busan, an amazing foreign zombie movie, probably one of the best zombie movies of all time, I think. Super emotional as well. Awesome characters in that movie. Training Day. We have Transformers, Dark of the Moon, which is probably my favorite Transformers movie. And probably the worst theater experience I've ever had. Transformers Age of Extinction. This movie is fucking dog shit. It's terrible. I hate it. Tremors 4K. I have yet to watch it. Trick or Treat. Sorry. This is definitely my sister's. Trolls, because I don't know why I would buy that. Tropic Thunder. Troy, director's cut. I wish they would just release the theatrical version. I don't know if they have a theatrical version just on Blu-ray, but if they did, I would rather watch that. True Grit. You are not LaBeouf. Fucking love True Grit. True Romance. This is one of my favorite. This has become one of my favorite movies of all time. I've only seen it once, but this is directed by Quentin Tarantino. Written by Quentin. What did I just say? I don't know what the fuck I just said. This is written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott. This movie is so goddamn quotable. It is so funny, so entertaining. The performances all around are fantastic. Brad Pitt plays a stoner in this movie. He's so funny. Gary Oldman might steal the movie as Drexel. I could rewatch this movie right now. If someone were to put that on, I would watch it the entire way through. And the last T is triple feature as well. Twister, Poseidon, and The Perfect Storm. I haven't seen Twister or The Perfect Storm, actually. I've seen Poseidon, and a lot of people shit on it, but I saw it when I was like younger, and I enjoyed it, so it's probably not a great movie, but it's fine. And that's it for the T's. Starting off with the U's, we have Unbreakable. Uncut Gems, one of the most nerve-wracking movie experiences I've seen in a while. It's a really great movie. A lot of people hate it. I love it. Got another triple feature here. We got Above the Law, Under Siege, and Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Bought this for Under Siege, which I just watched not too long ago. That movie was a blast, and the number one reason that movie kicks ass, Tommy Lee Jones as the villain. That's like an Oscar-nominated role in such a, cheesy. That should have been an Oscar-nominated role, but it's such a cheesy '90s action movie. But it's just a blast. I heard number 2 actually isn't too bad either. Above the Law, I don't even know what that is. So, but I was like in a '90s action mood for a while there. So, anyways, Unforgiven on 4K. I just saw this right here. It's damaged. Don't like that. I bought this on Amazon or Best Buy. What the fuck? Anyways, Unforgiven, one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably my favorite Western. Unhinged. Just bought this not too long ago at Best Buy. Heard it's a pretty good, entertaining Russell Crowe revenge movie. Universal Soldier. No idea what this movie is about, but it was cheap and I wanted it. Unstoppable. The Untouchables. Up in the Air. The Upside. Us, which I think is a pretty overrated movie. There are so many plot holes in this movie. So many. It's like they were trying to get the message across, but like the logic in the movie just kind of got tossed out the window. It's still there's some like the first hour or like the where the home invasion stuff ends to the end of the movie. That's where the movie kind of falls flat for me. But I still enjoyed it. and The Usual Suspects. I gotta rewatch this. It's been a while. But that's it for the U's. All right, on to the V's. Kicking it off with V for Vendetta. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. You gotta rewatch it. Van Helsing, definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. I might have to upgrade to the 4K for that. Venom, which we are getting a sequel to later this year. I hope the sequel is R-rated, but I enjoy Venom. It's not a great movie, but Tom Hardy, I love Tom Hardy. He's my favorite actor, so. The Verdict with Paul Newman, really, really good movie. Sidney Lumet direction. Yeah, I love courtroom dramas, and it's got Paul Newman in it, so it kicks ass. And the last V, The Visit. Decent enough Shyamalan movie. All right, on to the W's. Kicking it off with Wall-E. Haven't watched it yet, so can't really say anything about it. Wanted, movie that I watched a lot when I was younger, but don't know how well it holds up. Movie that does not hold up at all. Warcraft. This movie was pretty shitty, which is kind of weird because it's got an amazing director behind it. Warrior, probably my second favorite movie of all time. Like, that's kind of weird for someone to say because it's not a really well-known movie, but it's not like a classic acclaimed movie. It is acclaimed. Like, a lot of people love this movie, but I just like the time and place where I was in my life where when I saw this movie, it just affected me. I adore it. Warrior is so inspirational. If I could recommend you to watch any movie in this entire collection tonight, watch Warrior. You'll love it. It's incredible. Even if you don't like sports movies, which I'm not even the biggest sports movie fan, Warrior is much more than just a normal sports movie. So please watch it. We have the ultimate cut of Watchmen, which I've yet to watch. I've seen the normal theatrical cut, but ultimate cut I heard is really good. The Way Back. The Way Back, which is not a sequel or anything. Those are two completely different movies. One of my favorite comedies of all time. Wedding Crashers. Fucking love this movie. So damn good. It's got a lot of heart to it. Notice how I love comedies that also have a lot of heart to it. I don't know. It's just so funny, so quotable, so raunchy, but I love it. And Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn have amazing chemistry in that movie. Another one of my favorite comedies of all time, The Wedding Singer. Probably my favorite Adam Sandler movie. I love it. We're the Millers. Movie I thought that was funny at the time, but don't know how well it holds up. Whiplash. This is an incredible film. Probably one of the best movies in recent memory. At least of the past decade. That's one of the best movies. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Widows on 4K. I have yet to watch that. The Wishmaster collection. This has Wishmaster 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first Wishmaster is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It is so goddamn entertaining. Wishmaster 2 wasn't the biggest fan of, and then 3 and 4 I heard are just terrible, so I have yet to watch them. The Witch. I love The Witch. This is a really atmospheric, spooky horror movie that doesn't have any jump scares or anything, but it's all about the atmosphere and the tension, and just watching this family basically tear itself apart. But it's a really well-made movie, and Robert Eggers, 2 for 2, like I said, he's amazing, and I can't wait for his next movie. Without a Paddle. This is another guilty pleasure movie of mine. Watched it a lot as a kid. The Wolf of Wall Street. This might be the funniest movie I've ever seen. This is a 3-hour comedy that every joke just fucking lands. It is so goddamn good. It's so off the walls, batshit insane. Especially since Martin Scorsese, a 70-year-old man, directed this movie. That's crazy. But Wolf of Wall Street, fucking love that movie. The Wolverine, pretty good movie. Wonder Woman, I like this movie, and I do not own the sequel because I fucking hate Wonder Woman 1984. 1984? I think that's what it was called. That movie sucked. It was terrible. I watched it on HBO Max, and I don't know if I'll ever buy it on physical media. World War Z, The World's End. I don't really remember a whole lot from that movie. Wreck-It Ralph. The Wrestler. Probably Mickey Rourke probably gives my second favorite movie performance of all time in this. The first one, it's kind of a gimmick, but my favorite performance of all time is Heath Ledger's Joker as Dark Knight in The Dark Knight. I just love that performance. But Mickey Rourke in this movie, my God, so fucking emotional. But it is a crime against humanity that he did not win an Oscar for this movie. Oh fuck! But The Wrestler, please check it out if you have not. It is in another amazing sports movie, but it's not really a sports movie. It's just an amazing film. And the final W, the Wrong Turn movie that just came out not too long ago. I heard really good things about this. I've only seen a couple of the Wrong Turn original movies, and I heard this movie is like nothing really related to those. So I'll watch it sometime around Halloween. But that's it for the W's. All right. Now on to the X's, and of course we will be starting out with X-Men, the original, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men: The Last Stand. All three of these are in really cool steel books. I like all three of those movies. I don't hate The Last Stand. I get some enjoyment out of it. It's not great, but I get enjoyment out of it, like I said. X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, which I think is a pretty big letdown. I love First Class and Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse kind of just, I don't know, could have been a lot better. Speaking of could have been a lot better, Dark Phoenix. This movie was not good. And, I mean, you could just watch the trailer and tell that that movie was not going to be good. Triple X, Vin Diesel, in another guilty pleasure movie of mine. It's not a great movie, but goddamn, I'm just I watched like this and like the first couple of Fast and Furious movies all the time when I was younger. So these are just and like SWAT, all these action movies that aren't good, but they're just nostalgic for me and they're guilty pleasures. All right, kicking off the Y's. I only got a couple Y's here. So, Yes Man, really funny Jim Carrey movie. Your Highness. I have to rewatch this. It's kind of a weird movie. And You're Next. Same guy who directed The Guest directed this. This is a really cool kind of home invasion slasher movie with a really badass final girl. And guys, we're on to the Z's. We are almost done. Kicking off the Z's, Zodiac, one of my favorite films of all time. This is one of the best directed movies I've ever seen, one of the most enthralling, disturbing. Like, there are some scenes in this movie that are just straight up terrifying. But it's an incredible movie. We have Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap. Really enjoyed number one, and I have not watched Double Tap yet, but I heard it's pretty good. And finally, Zootopia, one of my favorite Disney movies in recent memory. I really love Zootopia. Well, that is it for individual cases like that, but I'm going to show you guys my collection in collectors, like big box sets and stuff, those. So hold on real quick. All right, now showing off my big box sets and collector stuff. So I got the Friday the 13th collection deluxe edition. This is the Scream Factory. They just released this, I think, last year. This thing is fucking amazing. I love this collection. This is the kind of thing I want for the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I think it deserves a nice big box set like this, but each movie gets its own case. That's awesome. I went through up until I think I watched 1 through 4 last Halloween, and then Halloween kind of ended and I kind of fell off. But I really enjoyed the first 4. I've seen Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and the remake. I actually love the remake of Friday the 13th. I know it's kind of controversial, but these movies are just enjoyable. They're not great horror movies, but fuck, I love this set. This thing is beautiful. Thank you, Scream Factory, for releasing that. I also have Ben-Hur, this big ass limited edition collector's edition. I have yet to watch this, but this thing is badass and I wanted it. I also have the same thing for Casablanca. This thing is really cool. It comes with the movie right there. And then comes with some coasters, which I have yet to open. But also comes with a poster and a book kind of detailing the making of the film. That's awesome. Casablanca, classic movie. So I thought it deserved a nice, cool collector's edition like this. And we got this big bitch, Lawrence of Arabia, Blu-ray. What is this? The 50th anniversary limited edition. This thing is massive. Comes with a bunch of shit, like a big book detailing the making of the movie and everything. I've yet to watch Lawrence of Arabia. It's a really long movie, but this thing, I just had to own it. I'm super excited to watch Lawrence of Arabia. It's a really long movie, so I got to find the time to sit down and watch it. But that is awesome. And last, but certainly not least, I own this. Is a best of Warner Brothers 50 film collection. This has 50 Blu-ray movies from Warner Brothers in it. And I'm going to read you guys the movies because I have to. So it's pretty cool. It comes with some poster and postcard series from some of the movies. That's really cool. But this is kind of what it looks like. It comes out in two cases like that. So volume 1, it kind of just goes from order of release date. So the older movies are in this one, and the newer movies are in this other one. But so the older movies in this include Grand Hotel, Mutiny on the Bounty, The Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, The Maltese Falcon, Mrs. Miniver, Casablanca, which I already own, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, A Streetcar Named Desire, An American in Paris, Singing in the Rain, Gigi, North by Northwest, Ben-Hur, How the West Was Won, Dr. Zhivago, Cool Hand Luke, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Bullet, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, fuck yeah, Dirty Harry, A Clockwork Orange, The Exorcist, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I love, and Superman the movie. So all of those movies are just in this one case right here. And volume 2, this has a lot more recognizable movies for you guys, I think. The Shining, Chariots of Fire, Risky Business, Amadeus, The Color Purple, Lethal Weapon, Full Metal Jacket, Driving Miss Daisy, Goodfellas, fuck yeah, Unforgiven, fuck yeah, The Bodyguard, Natural Born Killers, The Shawshank Redemption, The Matrix, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies, $1 Million Baby, The Departed, The Dark Knight, The Hangover, The Blind Side, Sherlock Holmes, Inception. That's all of those movies are in here. That's insane. And yeah, I'm really glad to have this. There are definitely movies in here that I already own individually. So yeah, but I just had to own this thing. There are way too many classic movies in here to skip over. But this thing is badass. It is heavy as shit, and it it adds a large chunk of movies to my collection. So I'm really proud to own this thing. Whew. That's all my movies, guys. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I would give you guys a grand total of all the movies I own, a number. And I am only counting I'm only counting movies once. So if I own 3 copies of Goodfellas on Blu-ray or 4K, but I'm only going to count it once since it's just one movie. So if there are like duplicates, like The Shining is in here, but I also own The Shining on 4K, I'm only counting it once. My grand total of movies is 939 movies on Blu-ray and 4K. 939 movies. Well, I'm almost to 1,000, so I might as well keep going. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you stuck through all the way, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I just want to try to get one of these Blu-ray collection videos out at least once a year, just to show you guys my updated collection. I really enjoy making this video. So, anyways, leave a like. And a comment down below what you thought of the video. Please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. And share this video. If you have any of your friends or relatives who are big movie fans, please share the channel. And anyways, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go get some water and some food and go to bed. I'm tired. But take care, guys.